Thank you all for coming. So we have two things to cover today. One is the first reading of ordinance 794. Let's see. Is there any public comment on the agenda items? No. Go ahead. Oh, we are not doing the first reading of that.
So why don't you explain why we're not doing the first?
Okay, so we're not doing the first reading of 794 because it required, we've been kind of going through that this morning to try to figure out to make sure we do this correctly. It required us to have public notice,
Public hearing.
and we're not having a public hearing, so we're not covering that one.
Well, hold on.
But
You want to?
it's okay, it's part of a bigger discussion, so. Between what it costs to list this in the paper and the hoops we're gonna have to jump through. This is for $800 in tax revenue. It's gonna cost us $300 to process the thing, and honestly. I would like us to consider not raising the property taxes by 1% this year. We are hitting the residents for 6% again for on water sewer, which unfortunately we weren't still doing reasonable rates when the economy was good, so we don't really have anything to give there. But I'm not sure if we should even look at changing the ad valorem.
I just have one question. So this is an ordinance that's already on the books?
Yes, every year we can change, we can add 1% increase to our property tax.
So this, what we were gonna talk about was amending that ordinance to bring it up another.
Yes, and it's currently at $80,000 total. So that 1% would be an $800 increase.
And the
Property taxes.
time and the money spent to.
The time and the
make it
money,
work.
and we're gonna have to jump through, to pull this off, we have to have two
However,
special meetings, go ahead.
yes, however, this particular ordinance will be rewritten because we do need to submit our intentions. And right now, our intentions is not to do the 1%.
If we go that direction, yeah.
So there will still be a public hearing. We're not doing it. That's what the guy on the phone today said. But I couldn't update it for this meeting because that wasn't what the agenda item was. So we're gonna have to do some juggling on calendaring.
Right, and I think we need to confirm that we do need to have the public hearing for the not taking it, right? That
That would be nice. to
Right.
get That
Yeah.
confirmation.
right, because if we're not raising it, it might just be a normal ordinance that we're gonna pass. It might be just the public hearing if it's the 1%, so we need to figure that out hopefully tomorrow.
Right.
And go from there.
All right.
Okay, and on the other side. If we pass this. Doesn't this then set the base for the new construction people? When they get built and they're paying taxes?
Well, do you want to talk about the carry forward? So we're not actually losing.
It's a bit confusing how that carry forward works. That works as if the houses end up being worth.
So like if the market crashes and everyone's property value goes down because it's not worth as much, we can still say we're gonna take 2%. But it might not, it's not 2% of what we have today, it's gonna be 2% of what we have later. So sometimes people will bank it and end up taking more of a percentage just to make up the small amount that we would get like in today's market for 1%. Right, because 1% today is the property value, is what the real estate market says it is, basically, or what the assessors say it is. But in 3 years from now, you know, a $400,000 home could be assessed at 168. So that 1% difference, or you know, the 1% of what we have over here could be 8% of what we have over here. So you can bank that percentage. It doesn't mean you're going to continue to get more. It just means that you can pull that much more of the percentage of what the value is.
So more a direct opinion, Jamie, to answer your question, is that if you forego this 1% in 2024, you will you will miss out on the property taxes that Kurt Reddick will be accumulating on his building, if he actually builds in 2024 and builds all in 2024.
No, we'd still
Wait,
get property
Wait,
taxes.
no, it's good property.
You get the you won't get that added 1%.
Right,
We wouldn't get that for any of the homes. Right?
Sure you will.
Well, if we don't
No.
increase our property.
But that's what I'm saying, I'm sorry, so if
That was,
by foregoing it, there is the potential of 1% on 5 houses in
2024. But then we'll do it correctly for 2025,
correct.
and we'll have that 1% back added on.
Correct.
but we'd still be receiving property taxes.
Yeah, we-
Yeah, no, that's what I understand, it's the
Yeah.
1%.
Yeah.
We forgo that 1% on all the houses.
Yeah, all the houses that get built.
for 2024.
Right, but okay, sorry, let me clarify. That the $800 that you keep quoting is minus those five buildings.
Oh, yeah,
Five
definitely.
buildings.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we definitely,
Oh, but
we still get property taxes on all the new homes, sure.
So with those 5
But
homes,
we
it might
don't
be
get the
12
one
years.
percent increase
correct.
on the 5 homes.
Right.
Or any
Which
other.
is-
We won't get the $2.50 a home more.
Yeah.
You know, when I looked at that was the county assessors, that's all, yeah. I saw all the other cities and how much they bank. Or, you know, is what they say, so if we don't spend this 1%, it gets put in with our other 2.34%, so we have 3.34% banked. Chehalis has,
Winlock has 43 points.
Chehalis has like 100 and something, 128%, which they're different, you know, they're different. But we've been historically using this as our revenue source because we weren't trying to find other ways to get revenue. So the question is, you know, at what point does this become less interesting? And can we stop increasing the taxes on the residents for this and make it up by allowing the growth that has to happen anyway to happen? And
Right, and let's say the market does crash and we wanna cash in 15 points, that doesn't mean we're raising property taxes for the residents, it just means that we might only be making a small percentage of what we're making today. Because the value is down, so it doesn't mean we still have to pass the vote and all that, but it doesn't mean that there's gonna be more taxes on the
so
residents.
when they say they bank, we're banking it from other recipients of the property tax revenue.
What do you mean?
I'm just trying to, I just don't understand what the banking it means.
It's confusing the way
Yeah.
it's, yeah, he was trying to
That's-
explain it to me.
I was gonna ask you, and now you're not gonna answer it.
It's. Yeah,
It's a percentage of what we can take put aside, but it's not. Like a solid number of funds, right? It's just, we can go up 1% every year based off the assessed value of the homes. So if the market crashes. Then we can take more of a percentage to still get the amount that we're bringing in today.
Oh.
Cause if the market crashes, then and everyone's values of the homes goes down, our payment's gonna go down. Right, so we're gonna wanna try to make some of that up by taking more of those percentages later, just to make up those funds.
So at some point, instead of talking about a 1%, we would be talking about a 4 or 5%.
I think Association of Washington Cities. The AWC is going for 3% right now, because the 1% just doesn't keep up. So they're asking for 3% from the state as being what you can raise without going to the voters, in hopes to get 2. So they actually just said that in this luncheon is, we're asking for 3%, hoping to get 2%, so that's gonna go up anyway, but then again, it's such a minor number compared to what it takes to get it. It's kind of crazy. I'm not sure why we've ever been raising it.
Yeah, it seems like right now you said we might bring in an extra $840, but it's already cost over $300, and it'll take more money to do all the advertising.
And there's gonna be 2 more special meetings with,
Yeah.
with, you know, with the
So if
time
you
we're paying right
break
now.
even with a lot of headache.
And we're talking of the water sewer, at least we can come back and be like, yeah, we had to do with the water sewer, but we didn't raise. property taxes.
I really wish we'd been raising water sewer for the
Every
last
year.
6 years instead of a lot of
So
zeros.
what do we need to do about ordinance 79
It
tonight?
needs to be rewritten to be that we're not pursuing it this in twenty
Okay,
twenty-four.
and we might or might not need a public hearing for that
Correct.
also. Okay.
Figure
even though
that
it's
out.
not-
Figure
Okay.
that out tomorrow.
But in that case, do we then need to make a motion in this special meeting?
No, I think we just are
Table it.
skipping it, we're
We're
tabling it.
tabling until we get confirmation that we can just say we aren't interested in it.
Unless you want to make a
Unless-
motion that you all are in agreement to pursue not pursuing it.
Well,
I motion that we not pursue this.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Kathy, you haven't said anything.
They were so quick.
But I mean, in general, do you have an opinion on it?
Any other conversation?
Any other conversation about, did
No.
we forgo the 1% this year?
Yes, but am I hearing that we would for sure instill this next year with the time we set? 1 or
Yes, we will
2%?
do it. I think we will do it right next year.
Yes,
Which might also be, we don't want it, we don't need it. I mean, you know,
We can look at it next year.
yeah.
yeah,
can-
but earlier.
Yes, we haven't, we
Yes.
don't.
We've learned from our mistakes.
We
from
don't
time
include
this year.
ourselves.
There it is.
Yeah.
And we don't do it next November. If we're gonna look
Right.
at it, we
Right.
do it early.
And that is some process change.
And we
talked
did
about.
just get the information as far as
Oh,
I got the levy stuff a couple weeks ago, so it should have been at least addressed in council as far as what we wanted to do. The information, that Excel sheet that I got last week.
Oh.
And so
Huh.
when I talked to the guy at the assessor's office, he told me to call another city, and I went off of how they do theirs. Apparently they don't hold a public hearing, but when I looked at the MRSC documentation, it said that we had to, so. That is my fault, and it will not
So we
happen
missed
next
a date,
year,
yeah, so we missed a date on that.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So we'll make it up next year.
Yeah, it is still all
Earlier.
crammed really fast, because with everything that comes out, I couldn't have gotten you the numbers that I got for the ordinance until last week.
Yeah,
But we still could have prepped and known what we were gonna do and set the meetings.
We can see how we can still have the 2 weeks
Exactly.
it takes to. give the
Exactly,
public
yeah.
Notice,
so the motion's been made and now discussed.
and, okay, all in favor
Aye.
and opposed? Okay, we will. Pursue not going for an increase in ad valorem. Okay, the second one is a memorandum of understanding for such and such parcel number. That parcel number is Barbecue Bonanza, the old Barbecue Bonanza building. Right, that's the name of it. That building sits 5.8 feet into the city alley, into the alley on Third Street, on Third Street.
And that confuses me because Third Street doesn't go
that-
across.
That gravel, the gravel parking lot that leads up to the jail.
Okay, that leads up to the jail, that's
Third
Third
Street,
Street.
in air quotes.
Undeveloped.
Undeveloped Third Street. So this memorandum of understanding is strictly so that we say that our intent is to pursue making him whole on that. So selling him that 5 point. It's not a rectangle, it's a trapezoid, so it's like 4.8 on one side, 5 that's on one side and 85 feet long. So we would agree to pursue selling him that, so that he can close and buy the property.
And
And what is the possible ballot?
So what we're agreeing to do is to go through it in the correct process in the.
The alley vacation.
We wouldn't know until he
So,
got it.
yeah, so we need to go through the process, which takes a lot more time than he has to close on a building. And-
Okay.
And I think that we should, obviously, we would do the right thing to fix it, to make the property whole.
Right, the city's not promising him anything, we're promising him to go through all of our processes.
Ah.
To consider selling him that strip of alley. And
Okay, so and what, but that's all we're processing in this, promising this MOU. The thing we did talk about is he would like to not just make the property whole, he would like to actually have a parking lot. Which,
so that's what I might say, if I printed this thing. up,
Yeah.
And is this the jail and That's off to
I
one
think the
side.
jail is actually on
No,
forty,
it's-
40 land.
It is, this is the little dot up here.
Yeah, that's the jail, right?
Right,
So here, what we're talking about for him would be, let's see, where is it? It would be just that side of the jail.
Yeah,
So you'd still have direct access to the jail.
yeah,
And
no,
he-
it is a strip this wide. Next to
Yeah,
the
so
building.
it's just
It is-
basically where it has been used as parking already.
But it's actually inside of this building right now.
Oh, it's, okay, yeah, well, then, yeah,
There's not any gravel that but he has spoken about, he would be interested in buying for whatever it's afraid at his half of that alley. So that'll be something for us to discuss in the future and decide if that's what we wanna do. But we are agreeing at a minimum to make the property whole. Which
Yeah.
kind of needs to be done anyway, or you
And
can't
this
sell
is
it,
the
sell it, I don't know
piece.
how.
Yeah, the
So,
letter's basically
then
just
that's
for
all-
underwriting.
Yeah,
blackberries and stuff. on
We're-
it.
I believe so, yeah.
I thought you said we
I
weren't
thought I
ready with
saw
that, we were
city
committing
owned that,
to
but I don't know.
pursuing
We'll
the
see.
process.
This is
Yes.
the current
Okay.
line right
But-
now,
Right.
and this is the.
as a city.
Right,
we-
it's
I mean, we
over.
want
And
to
so
be
I
able to
think what
go
he
in there.
wants to do is like make a straight line like that.
Uh-huh, yeah,
But anyway, we're not actually
Yeah.
approving any of that tonight,
We'll
we're
get
just
to-
saying, yeah.
We'll get to
we're
that,
just
we have
saying-
time to debate it,
but this will allow him to close.
yes,
Right, you're approving Eric to sign this.
memorandum of
Yeah.
understanding,
That we will work hard at coming through all our processes and.
yeah.
Doing right by him.
And doing right by.
And if it ends up not favorable to him, are there any legal implications for us?
Can't see how, if the city already owns it and we, for whatever reason, we can't do it for him. It's because of ordinances and statutes and.
But
public
I don't
works.
So
understand how
those
we
are
would not,
nice assumptions,
Okay.
but have we checked that out to make sure that there's not a problem?
Well, the letter of understanding does say that. You know, this is not legally binding, that
Yeah.
we're promising the process, we're not promising.
Right.
Yeah.
Land.
yeah, we're just promising to go through the
Okay.
process. It's not it doesn't, yeah, it's not a contract, doesn't constitute a contract or promise to
Yeah, it
contract.
does state in there all of that.
And it literally.
It reiterates it a couple times too, that
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
is just, this, is, you know, it's not a contract to follow through, this is just basically a promise to. Look
Go
into
through the
it, yeah,
process.
And this is for his underwriting.
it's for underwriting, yeah, it's basically just so he can get the loan on the property.
And so we basically tried to, since she's not has some experience in real estate, tried to figure out how little we could. Commit to, actually, we do have a printout of that.
And do you want to talk about what might be going in it?
Oh, and he would like to put an antique store in there.
So the essential oils business is gone or going?
Right, which is great, because it's not retail, it doesn't do anything.
Right.
And antique stores are great for drawing people to
Yes,
town,
they are.
right? Aren't they? I assume they are. It's a good location. You can see,
It's a business, there you go.
you can, yeah, you can see on the very last page. You all have a copy of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the very last page,
I
is the
can,
detail.
I could.
Yes.
I could
No.
Make up, yeah.
In the lower left-hand corner,
Wait a minute,
I'll bring it over here, right here.
here we go.
This is his building and that's the property line.
No, I
No.
circled that.
Right, but that is a zoom in of that, so you.
Oh. I mean, I had my computer loaded, so I can see
That
that.
building, that's the zoom in.
notice
of
that.
the property line and the building.
Detail, okay.
Okay,
Okay, yeah, cause
Yeah, okay.
I
so
did
that looks like the
200%
same
on
rest
this thing
of
and
it.
they still
it
couldn't
does.
get where I.
Oh, I
could
know,
see it.
yeah, it's not.
I got the
Not
upside
readable.
down now, that's his building, and that's. the current
Yes.
line. So you just would like.
he's
to-
buying the stuff outside the line.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, it's
actually
already
should have
built
been in
there.
the line.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a full understanding.
Yes,
I would entertain a motion.
we did.
Did we entertain a motion?
No,
I'll make a motion that we agree to the memorandum of understanding with Mr. Bushland.
Something I'd like to move forward with us in the future is, and authorize the mayor to sign.
And authorize the mayor to sign. I would.
I have a motion.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second, more discussion?
Yeah, you weren't fast enough again.
Oh, on it.
You got it.
Okay, all in favor?
I,
Aye. I was ready with
She got
that.
it first.
Okay, then I will sign this memorandum of understanding and give that. I'll let her. Public input, yeah.
What was that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was.
It was.
Nothing? Okay. That it? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't intend a motion to end the meeting.
I will make the motion after saying thank you for all the hours that you put in to
Absolutely.
prepare this,
That's absolutely fine.
that we adjourn.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all there.
Aye.
Thanks for coming.
Always a party. Thank you.
Different than the people that own it, so he's buying the building, is that what it's doing?